Look, I've been very lucky to pick the brains of tonight's guest a few times over the years, and although he does like to fly under the radar, I can't tell you how lucky and privileged we are to have him here tonight. Very few of us will ever get the insight into how our country's top athletes think, train and prepare for an event like the Olympics. But for tonight's guest, that's his day job. He described Olympians as ordinary people who do extraordinary things. So to pull back the covers and share what we can all learn from our Olympians, please welcome an all-round legend of a man, Mr. John Quinn.
Look, thank you for having me tonight. I feel like the people who have spoken before me have almost taken my thunder. Some of those messages from those young people, I think as adults we could probably learn from them around it. For me, this is a really lovely quote because what you're going to see tonight is they are ordinary people just like us. They have the same issues that we have, the same concerns that we have. They've worked out a way how do they kind of manage some of that stuff. So tonight we're just going to go through a couple of things, and I'm hoping we go through it, you can realise this stuff's actually really easy, but it's not. Because most of us don't do it. There's no hacks to this. Social media tell you there's quite a few hacks to doing this. I haven't found any yet. It's just doing some simple things really, really well. So what I want to start off with, again, thanking the Inspire Foundation. You guys have already done this, but a lot of the athletes who have been through here I've been lucky to work with. And I know without that support, they would not be where they are today. And I've heard a lot of the people come up here and thanking people. So what we're going to do now is a bit of an exercise. And we did this with the New Zealand Athletics team before they went into the village. So I'm going to give all of you 2 minutes and a second to take out your phones, don't take them out yet, okay? You've got 2 minutes to thank someone who's had an impact in your life or maybe an impact on why you're here today. And what I want you to do is thank them and give them the reason that you're thanking them, okay? And once you've done it, put your phone away and turn it off, otherwise we're going to have all these beeps and noises coming out soon. So you've got 2 minutes. This is the adults in the room, everyone in the room. Thank someone who's had an impact on your life to be where you are today. I'll give you all 2 minutes. Away we go. It's interesting when we do that exercise because often when we do it, a lot of us get a little bit stuck. What do we do? How do we do it? I remember doing that with a team a few years ago, and we did that same exercise. We turned the phones off. We had a bit of team building doing stuff. But a couple of hours later, the boys went back and checked their phones, and one of the players had 27 missed calls from his mother. Because he's suddenly so worried about why you're saying I love you and why you're saying thank you. So as much as that's funny, it's quite sad because he's actually never done that. And often we forget to thank the people. All of us are in this room because of the support of other people. And the young people in this room who are athletes or whatever your role is, you're here because of other people. We've got to make sure we take the time to thank them all the time. So one of the challenges I'll give you tonight is how do you do that on a weekly basis or once a month? Thank the people for where you are because the gratitude piece becomes really, really important because it's easy to be ungrateful. And I love some of the messaging some of those athletes talked around. It's not about winning because only one person can win or one team can win. But how do we make sure we're grateful for where we are? And that's some of the messages we want to touch on tonight because I've been really lucky to work with lots of amazing people. And I think I learn more from them than they learn from me. And just like all of you in the room, they all started with a dream. But unfortunately, a lot of that dreams, at times, it becomes a nightmare. And there's real challenges. And what you can probably see here, there's adversity in everything we talk about. Okay, so the parents in the room, let's make sure we don't protect our kids from adversity, from challenges. Okay, because whatever you want to do in your life, there's going to be a challenge. And as we go through some of these stories here, all of them have faced massive adversity on and off their sport. And when we talk about building resilience, we can only do that by going through something. And we look at these people, as I said, success isn't a straight line. It's not Instagram, sorry, people. That's a highlights reel. Success is really challenging. And so as adults in this room, how do we teach our young people about what success looks like? Because that becomes really important. Because I love this quote from Brene Brown. You can choose courage or you can choose comfort. You cannot have both. We have a society that encourages comfort. Everything's invented for us to make things more comfortable. High-performance sport is incredibly uncomfortable. Life is really uncomfortable. And so how do we kind of look at that from a lens of this is a place of growth when it's uncomfortable? And so as I'm talking tonight, whether you're an athlete in the room, whether you're a parent within the room, whether you're a coach, whether you're in business, it's all the same themes. And that's what I've learned from working with lots of people over many, many years, through education, through business, through sport, is we're all exactly the same. We all fear the same things. We're all scared of failure. We're all scared of judgment. And we're all scared of, do we fit in? Now, if you're not scared of any of those three, well played, you're the first person I met who's not. But these Olympians are exactly the same. They have the same worries you guys have, the same concerns. And what they all have in common, they've faced challenges, they've overcome them. What they've done really well is they've had a team around them. So really think about who's your team around you at the moment. All those individual athletes have up to 9 to 10 people in their team, that's not counting family, who are supporting them. So think about who's in your team, who's supporting you, because we already need that at times. 10 years for an overnight success. Emmett Twigg was 34 when she won her first medal. I think Ryan Fox was 29 when he went pro. Please don't be in a hurry to get there, okay? And parents, don't make sure you push them to be in a hurry to get there. I've seen too many early in and early out. The top level is unrelenting, okay? And I mean that in a really nice way because it's a great challenge. But we want to make sure they're young people, they've got the tools to manage that. It's not the physical tools. When you get to the top level, everyone's physically the same. Some of the speed, some of the strength, some of the size. But can we manage that one wee moment? And I love some of those messages people were talking about before, finish the race with a smile on your face. It's still called the Olympic Games. Let's make sure our young people understand that. It's a game, it should be fun. But making sure, don't be in a hurry to get there. Because sometimes when we're in a hurry to get there, it's a hurry to get out. There is a lot of sacrifice. Okay? They can't be the same as us. They certainly can't eat like us. They certainly can't drink like us. They've got to do things which are different. And that's where the team around it becomes really important. This is a bit we often don't see what goes behind that event, what goes behind before that game. And they're not living the same life you guys are. Because if you go to bed at 9 o'clock, who cares? You go to bed at 10 o'clock, who cares? They need to go to bed at the right time. They need to eat the right food. They need to do all those little things that we think about as a good idea, but they do. So what are they prepared to sacrifice? But also, what are you prepared to sacrifice for your goals? Because we can't stay the same and get better. They work hard and smart, which is obvious, but also, as I said, they're scared. They have self-doubt. They worry, just like you guys do. But they work out, how do we actually move forward from there? How do we show courage? The only way to be courageous is to be scared first. That's what does that look like? And again, they choose growth and courage over comfort. The brain will take you to comfort every single time. Okay? It's designed for you to be comfortable. To be successful, wherever you choose to be, it's often uncomfortable. To be a leader in your industry, it's uncomfortable because you've got to move forward ahead of everyone else. So how do we understand? Discomfort is the place of growth. And that's how they see discomfort. Not as a threat, but here's a nice big challenge. How do I manage this? Well, they all did really well. This doesn't sound really obvious. They stuck to a plan. Rocket science, eh? Giving the key, they stuck to a plan. Sounds really easy. Think of the last time you stuck to a plan for one day. Most of you don't. You change it by lunchtime. You can see some athletes had to stick to a plan for a whole year, 2 years, 3 years. The discipline of doing some of that stuff, really basic, but it's what they do well. They didn't change things late, which sounds really obvious, but often we do, we change things. We have a plan, then something better comes along. Something more glistening comes along, we try and change that. They stuck to it. One of the athletes talked about this before. One of the people got the award. They focused on what they can control. Again, sounds really obvious, but think about in your day-to-day life, how often you focus on the things you can't control? How often your thoughts taken away with the stuff you can't control? Can you imagine walking into 80,000-seater stadium, 35 degrees. For Eliza, she's trained 8 years for this game. What can you control there? There's only a few things you can control, lots you can't. They moved from hope to know. We'll go into a bit more detail on this in a second. Think about how many times you often hear about the word hope. Hope we play well this week. Hope they got that email. Hope the boss is nice to me. Hope I get a pay rise. Hope's a shit plan. Doesn't work. What do you need to know to get closer to your goals? What's the detail you need to do to achieve your goals? And the last thing is really obvious, but they speak up. Again, think about the teams you work with at work. Think about the teams you played sport with. How often do you not speak up because you're worried? You're worried about judgment, you're worried about opinions, or you're worried about other things. So these are really 5 simple things. We're just going to go through these tonight and some examples of how the athletes I was lucky to work with, went through some of this stuff. This guy here, so simple, stuck to a plan. A year ago, Budapest, 225, should jump into sleep. He bombed out. Okay. Year before that, Eugene, I think it was 220. He missed qualification. What he did incredibly well was he learned. Now, Eugene, he got glossed over a wee bit because that year was Con Games, he got gold. The next year, there was no extra events past Budapest. So I suppose a height he should have done in his sleep, he missed. Not because he couldn't jump it, because probably mentally, he was a 7'11" athlete, not 24/7. What Hamish did incredibly well is he developed a plan and he stuck to it day in, day out. Really boring stuff. Simple things like we went out for a meal with Mount Polier and we all had burgers, he had something healthy. We had a beer, he had tonic water. Pretty simple, eh? We went for ice creams, he went home. Decisions he made sticking to a plan. So think about your plans, whether it's in the business world or it's in your sporting world. How do you stick to those? What are the challenges to doing some of these plans? Because often people want the recipe to this. Start with that. Think about your goals you've had in your life. How often you stay consistent with that plan? Because what we often do afterwards then is we change the plan. Okay? Or we bring other things in. This is the next new thing. A lot of you won't know this young lady. For me, this is the biggest success of the Games, Maura Costa. Okay? So she's judo, won a medal at Commonwealth Games. 9 months ago, she did MCL. 9 months out from the Games. Luckily, a very good physio, a very good S&C, Bernardo and John Wilson. So we had 6 months to get it right. She had a qualification tournament. She probably had enough points to get through the Games, but we had to get her to Brazil 3 months out from the Games. She got there. Didn't change the plan. She was tempted to. She followed it. Sounds so simple, eh? Goes to a qualification tournament, ruptured ACL. 3 months out. Okay? Here's you 3 months out, ACL, 9 to 12 months. We put a plan in place. We've got a team around her, surgeons, doctors, everyone. No surgery, right, let's get her right in 3 months. She fronted the first week of the Games. So when we talk about success, it's not always the medals. They're nice. That's what the media will focus on. That was the medal in itself. Now, she's very competitive, very impatient. And every time she felt better, she wanted to do more. No, stick to the plan. Don't change it. Such a simple thing to do, but she did it. 3 months' time, she got to the Paris Olympics. Okay, so again, think about your life. What are the things we often change? Big fella here. That's probably his happy face at the moment. But again, another really good example. 2 months out, pulls his abductor a wee bit, nothing major. London 2 weeks before, Diamond League, 3 throws, pulls it again. So we had 2 weeks to try and get him right. In that 2 weeks, he had to focus on what he could control. There's so many things we couldn't. We had to have a plan which changed most days. We had to work out how do we actually get him to throw and push it without breaking it. And it's a real juggling act. Again, Bernardo, his physio, did a great job, and our ability to right today is 50%. Stick at 50, then the next day is 75%. Let's focus on these little things we can control all the way through. Because there's so much he couldn't control. What he could control was how much social media he watched. Because he watched everyone else's doing and focused on what he's doing. He did an incredible job mentally and physically to get to the start line. But unfortunately, even after doing all that, it's not always a happy ending. Second throw, pulls it completely. Third throw, yeah, thanks for coming. 6 to 8 weeks out now. But it's a really good example of, again, success was getting him to the starting line. For Maura, success was getting her to the Games. What happened beyond that, you can't control. He did an incredible job of focusing on what he can control. So again, think of in your own life the situations where you get caught up in things you can't control. Yeah. It's almost that wasted energy. What he did incredibly well, right, what can I do today? What can I control today? Again, Emma Twigg, great story. Twiggy, first 2 games, 4th and 4th. Tokyo, gold. What she really shifted one was hoping to knowing. So when we talk about a goal, it's been really clear. Well, what's the detail I need to know about my goals? So when we turn up to the race, What do we need to know? Let's not hope these things will be in place. Let's know these things will be in place. Let's not hope they have good food. Let's know they have good food. Let's not hope it's a nice bed. Let's make sure we know it's a nice bed. All these little things which are detailed. And I'm hoping what you understand in hearing this tonight, it's not rocket science, but are you prepared to do these little things? Are you prepared to change your language from I know how to do that and I know what to do, compared to I hope this happens? For the next couple of weeks, notice at work, notice in your job, how many people talk about the word hope? I hope this happens. Yeah, good luck with that. Let's work out what you actually need to know. And the last one is Eliza. Again, 8 years ago, golden girl, everything was looking pretty rosy for you. Then she had sort of 5 years going to Tokyo, or 4 years going to Tokyo. Well, actually was 5 with COVID. Stop, start. Okay. What she did really well after that, she started speaking up for how she was. Because initially everyone was saying, you'll be fine, keep jumping. And she kept breaking. And just to think, what is it like if you turn up to work every week and then fail? Come next week and then fail. And then not only are you failing, the whole public know about it. So if you guys do an email and forget to send the attachment, someone comes back and goes, you stupid prick, you should have done the attachment. No one knows. That's it. They fail. We've all got comments on it. We've all got opinions on it. And that's clear with the Aussie breakdancer. We've got opinions on that, isn't it? No. And so it's quite a different mindset. So what Eliza did really well was start to understand her own body and when she would jump and when she wouldn't jump. So 3 weeks out, we probably had 2 jump sessions in 3 weeks before she competed. 6 for us is outstanding. Going from not competing, being broken. Now this year she went world indoors silver, 6 Olympic Games. Again, didn't win, but she won her own way. And so when we look at these things here, as I said, they're not hacks or tricks. So whether it's in the business world, whether it's in your sport, don't get caught up with hacks or tricks. There's no simple things that you can do that will get you there quicker. Are you prepared to do these things? Are you prepared to sit down and have a plan? Same in the business world. What's your plan? Are you prepared to stick to it? Don't get caught up in shiny lights and changing things. Can you focus on the things you can control? Do you actually know what you need to do, or do you hope others know? And do you speak up? So there's some challenges I'm going to put towards you tonight. And probably some of you sitting there going, yeah, but what's the magic? What's the real tricky thing they have to do? They just do that more consistently than we do. So my challenge is moving out tonight, what's your role in doing this? What's your goal and what's your plan to achieve it? Okay? What are the challenges to sticking to that plan? Because sticking to a plan is really hard, as you worked out, because often we don't. We find something else which is new. What you're seeing, there's lots of disappointment goes into this. Let's not fear disappointment. Let's not fear when it's really hard. As Ihaka said, let's embrace failure. Let's enjoy it. It's the only time we grow is during failure. And so what does failure look like for you? And again, it doesn't matter what career you have or what role you have. What are you doing to get better? Because we often, the parents in the room, we talk about making sure our kids have goals. But the parents in the room, what are your goals? What do you want out of the next 5 years, 10 years? What's your plan to achieve that? Because we're going to role model this stuff to our young people. What are you doing once a week to scare yourself so you can be courageous? What are you doing to get better at your job, your relationship, whatever you're doing? And that's all these people every day. Every day they come to work, our question is, what are you going to do today to get better? So can anyone put their hand up if anyone, when they walk into work on Monday, their job asks them, or their boss asks them, what are you doing to get better? Probably not many. Who wants to be world class at their job? Put your hand up. Yeah, not many. Well, why not? Why not be the best at the job you do? Because that's what we're doing with these people every day, these young people here. But let's join them and become world class with it. I'll finish with this. Success is never owned, it's rented, and the rent is due every day. And for me, it's one we use with a lot of athletes going into Paris. Some of them had success beforehand. Hamish is a really good example. Great year. World Indoors, Diamond League meets. Where you go, well, let's understand that was then. What are you doing now? How are you going to pay your rent every day? because he went from a 7-11 athlete, 7 o'clock, 11 o'clock, to 24/7. Now he's got to now earn that right again. He's been the Greek islands for the last 2 weeks. He's got a bit of rent to pay, I'd say. Come back next week. But he's enjoyed the last couple of weeks, which he needed to. But now it's back to paying the rent. We're the same. How do we pay the rent in our relationships? How do we pay the rent in our day-to-day lives? How do we pay the rent to actually have that success? Success can't be brought. It's not given. It's earned. And it's great to hear the messages from these young people tonight about how hard they've worked. So now if we work smart, stick to plans, magic can happen. Good. Thank you for your time.